Zettel für die lange Weg. 2 Flaschen Whisky für die Zeit. Und ich date gern habe, du bist dabei. Maria geht, fahrt mal weg, ist weit. Wann ich geh, ich werd dir fehlen, wann ich geh. Du sehst nicht, was ich mach, du sehst nicht, wie ich lach. Ich werd dir fehlen, du watsch sehen. Hab kriegt mein Zettel für den langen Weg. Du scheinst da, als mir finden kann. Es hat Maria und Dale ganz wunderbar. Hass ich dir den weißen Dank. Wann ich geh, ich werd dir fehlen, wann ich geh. Du sehst nicht, was ich mach, du sehst nicht, wie ich lach. Ich werd dir fehlen, du watch sehen.
Well, good Obit, liebe Leid. Good evening, dear friends. We are back at it. It is the June episode of not your PA Dutch Minute. That's my other show on YouTube channel. On PA Dutch Live, it is the June episode. I had a big bowl of strawberries and ice cream today because it's June in Pennsylvania, and that means strawberries and ice cream. Got some fresh strawberries, got some great local made ice cream. It was delicious. What are you doing out there to celebrate this time of year? Hopefully you're starting to get some fresh produce come in. Strawberries, blueberries are going to be in here pretty soon. If this is your first time joining the show, it's not all about berries. It seems like that's all I've been talking about, though. No, it is PA Dutch Live. It is a show dedicated to all things Pennsylvania Dutch, and every month I come to you live here on Facebook, on the YouTube channel, over on what used to be called Twitter, is now X. And, we just try to bring you a good interview with somebody that knows something about Pennsylvania Dutch. We got a great guest lined up for tonight's episode. If this is your first time joining us, no matter where you're joining us, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook, please put in the comment section where you're joining us from so we can give you a shout out. Those of you that join us every month, you know the deal, and some of you have already thrown comments into the section. So let's give a couple quick Pennsylvania Dutch shout outs to some people. Derek joins us almost every month. Gouda Dog, Doug the Dutchman. That's me, Doug the Dutchman. Gouda Dog, Derek, glad to have you with us this month as always. Our good friend Seth Moak. Hello, Doug. Gouda Obit. Fundo in Durham, North Carolina. My Nye Heimatstädel. Ich hab gemeint California. So Seth, if you watch the show, knows that for the longest time he would join us from sunny San Diego, California. But if you don't know Pennsylvania Dutch, here's the quick translation of what he said. Good evening from Durham, North Carolina, my new hometown. I moved and I left, got out of California. So Seth, welcome back to the East Coast. Hopefully everything's settling in there in North Carolina. Draven says, hello, Maidenford. Well, hello, Draven. Good to have you joining us. Ian says, hello on alle Leute. Hey, everybody. Norman, Young Gouda, Marius Cologne. Norman, I'll tell you what, I got an email from Norman. Joins us every month, as most of you know. He's our good friend that lives in the Palatine region of Germany, in Steinbach am Glan, or a nice little cool little town there in the Pfalz. And he emailed me, well, actually his daughter emailed me asking for permission for her father to miss PA Dutch Live this month because he was taking her to a concert in Cologne, Germany. And I said, yes, I'll give you permission to miss the show. But now he's joining us anyway. I guess the concert's over. Hopefully you had a good time. Cologne is one of my favorite cities. I spent a lot of time in Cologne when I lived in Germany. Hopefully you got to enjoy a little bit of the city as well. Sarah says, hello, how y'all doing? Hey, we are y'all doing really, really good. The Wisps, our Bluegrass family, great evening from Fleetwood. They join us every month. Glad to have you guys with us as always. My good friend and distant cousin Carol is good evening from ever beautiful downtown Burnville. Hey, it's going to get hot the next couple of days there in Burnville. Hopefully you have a way to cool off, Carol, and keep cool. Becky, hey, howdy from over the mountain. Doug, looking forward to the show. It's glad to have you with us. We've had Becky on as a guest before. Hopefully everything's pretty good down there in your part of Pennsylvania. Dolly Moyer joins us from Fleetwood in beautiful, my home county, Berks County, Pennsylvania. Beautiful, beautiful. Ian says, hello, aus Florida. We got Florida in the house. We got Sarah saying, I'm coming to you from the Peach State. Well, that's Georgia. We got the Deep South really showing up tonight. This is great. Holly is joining us. Gouda Obit, Doug. Holly is joining us from across the pond in the United Kingdom. Welcome. Darren says, Gouda Dog, Doug, my friend. Well, it's Gouda dog to you too. And Glenn Hawk says, hey, good talk, man from Tylersville. That's in beautiful Sugar Valley, Clinton County, Pennsylvania. Glenn, glad you're joining us. All right. If you still haven't put in the comment section where you're joining us from, please do that. Of course, I'll give you a shout out throughout the show. But at the beginning of every show, every month, I like to do a little bit of news and things coming up in the Pennsylvania Dutch region for you to mark your calendars and a couple other things. So let's jump right into it for this month. And this month, we're going to have coming on here shortly, Craig Koller, who is the interim director of the Kutztown Folk Festival, will be joining us. So in every June, we always do a Kutztown Folk Festival preview show, and that's what this month will be. So we'll learn about all the good things that are happening at the Folk Festival this year, maybe some new things, some of the old things are going to be around, but we'll save all that conversation for when Craig is on the show. Really quickly, I would like to give a shout out to our friend, Brad Smith, who for the longest time was working at the Berks History Center. He was recently awarded the Outstanding Pennsylvania German Activities Award for 2024, which is awarded by the Deutsch Pennsylvanische Arbeitskreis, which translates into the German Pennsylvania Association. Every year, they give out an award to someone or some organization that does outstanding Pennsylvania Dutch activities. And if you're not familiar, Brad was the spearhead for the introduction and creation of online Pennsylvania Dutch language courses at the Berks History Center. They are now in their third year, I believe, and continuing to get lots of interest and lots of people signing up for their classes. They have classes in-house and also via Zoom. I've advertised them before on the channel and on the show, but it's good to see that the hard work that Brad has done has paid off, and he's been given this award. He duly earned it. So I just want to give a big congratulations to Brad and all the work that he's doing there at the Berks History Center, and continued success, I'm sure. Hey, mark your calendars. I announced this last month, but it's coming up quickly on June 28th, which is Pennsylvania Dutch Day or Pennsylvania German Day in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. At the Schnecksville Fire Company is the Pennsylvania German Day celebration. There's going to be speakers, music, art, Pennsylvania Dutch food. There's going to be a spelling bee. There's going to be sing-alongs. So if you have the time from 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., stop by on June 28th at the Schnecksville Fire Company and enjoy a little bit of Pennsylvania Dutch, Pennsylvania German Day, and celebrate that day with the people there. Of course, I've been announcing this, and we're going to talk a lot more about this, but if you haven't already, marked on your calendar from June 29th to July 7th will be the Kutztown Folk Festival. We'll get all the deets, as the kids say, coming at you here really quickly. One other thing that I've been announcing, but I want to keep announcing, if you remember a while ago, we had Sarah Jane Williams on the show who talked about the Lower Macungie Historical Society, Lower Macungie Township Historical Society, and their involvement with the new movie, The Freeze Rebellion. Well, the movie has just released a trailer on YouTube this week. I think it might have been yesterday, actually. It looks awesome. And a lot of friends of the show and of the channel actually are in the movie. Their premiere is Sunday, August 25th. You will have to get tickets. You can follow along on Facebook. Just look for the Freeze Rebellion film or the Lower Macungie Township Historical Society if you'd like to get tickets to that premiere gala at Wind Creek in Bethlehem. It's going to be worth it. Every month I give a hee-haw style salute to some town in greater Pennsylvania Dutch country. And since our guest tonight and most of our conversation will be dealing with my home area of Berks County, I had to pick a town in Berks County to give a salute to. And I'm going to shout it out this month to Kempton. Kempton, Berks County, Pennsylvania, up there in the northeast corner of Berks County, in the Alamangel, as it's known as, founded in 1874. And listen, Kempton's hopping right now. They got a population of 169 people, give or take. If you've never been up to that part of Pennsylvania Dutch country there around Hawk Mountain, it is absolutely beautiful at the basin of the Blue Mountains that forms the natural border between Berks County and then those people north of us in Schuylkill and some of those other counties moving in that direction. But check out Kempton sometime. It's worth a Sunday drive for sure. All right. That's all the news I have. I didn't have a lot of dates and things to share with you this month. There's a lot going on, I'm sure, throughout the summer. I just hadn't seen too many things online, so I gave you what I had, but we're going to focus now and talk about our guest. This month, I invited on Craig Koller, who is the interim director for the Kutztown Folk Festival, and there's a picture of him from one of the previous folk festivals, and he is waiting patiently in the green room, so I'm going to pull this out and pull Craig in. Craig, hello, and welcome to PA Dutch Live.
Hi, Doug. Thanks for inviting me. I wish you would have had a better picture of me instead of one with my mouth open as I'm in front of a quilt.
You were working hard. It was a good picture. Come on, Craig.
Folks who know me know that my mouth is open all the time, so I guess maybe it is appropriate.
Well, then there we go. Craig, I always like to start every show off with my guests to kind of let the audience get to know you a little bit. But let's start off by asking you this question. What's your Pennsylvania Dutch connection?
Well, I just learned a new term from the Jason Graver, who is the historian at Kutztown University. He found a letter that a student from what is now Kutztown University sent home. It was from the early part of the 20th century. And he described the folks in Kutztown as Dutch on all sides. So now that's something that I have adopted and said I am Dutch on all sides. My father's side, I'm a descendant of original settlers in this area, the Kutztown area, Kutztown, Maxwell Township, Mucillum Springs, the Kollers, and it's pronounced Koller. Our friend from Cologne will point that out to you. That's where I was schooled on that. The Kollers were Fleetwood, but my father was born in Kutztown and raised in Kutztown. My grandmother was born and raised, my great grandparents. On my mother's side, they're all from the Ole Valley. My mother's parents made the big move from Ole to Kutztown in 1934, and that's where they raised their family. So Dutch on all sides.
So growing up, you were immersed in Pennsylvania Dutch culture, and
yes.
I'm sure the food and language as well.
I grew up in the same neighborhood as my mother's parents, and my father's mother, of course, lived in Kutztown as well. And my grandparents, their first language was Pennsylvania Dutch. Now, they spoke it when they didn't want us to know what they were saying, but we did pick up a few words and phrases, especially the words and phrases we really shouldn't have picked up. Of course, those are the first ones we wanted to know. And I think that has remained the same from what I've heard. And of course, the food, the big meal of the day was always lunchtime. That even though they weren't farmers anymore, they still ate their big meal at lunch. And of course, it was always pepper cabbage, schmeerkäse and bladvarich, all that, the Pennsylvania stuff. We always had stuffed pig stomach for New Year's Day. And we still do.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have the pork and sauerkraut. That was our thing. Now, on my father's side, my grandmother used to stuff it with potato filling.
Oh, I've heard of people doing that. Uh-huh.
Now, I've started making this myself, and I'm wondering how the heck did she get? It must have been a mess. I don't know. I wish she was still with us so I could ask her how she did that, among other things. But my mom's side, it was the smoked sausage and the potatoes. So that was one of the things we had, and that was a treat, and it still is.
Sure, absolutely.
To do it that way, and the schnitzel nap and nuddle soup and pretzel soup and Buvaschenkel and Director Cooker and the corn flitter, just everything. We had it.
You got Dutch on all sides, right?
Dutch on all sides, yes. That's why I was an overweight kid.
Okay. Well, the whole reason we had you on is because you are speaking tonight on behalf of the Kutztown Folk Festival. But before we talk about this year's festival, and you sent some pictures that we're going to look at of some folk festival from years gone by. I think they're really cool, and I can't wait to share those. But you have been involved with the festival or around the festival your whole life, right?
Yes. When I was little, my grandfather had a neighborhood grocery store in Kutztown. My brother actually runs it now. It's Mr. Food in Kutztown. You ever go to Kutztown? My grandfather started that in 1934. Well, during the folk festival and the Kutztown Fair, he had a big trailer, 18-wheeler trailer up there parked behind what is now the Quilt Barn, and it was an extension of his grocery store. So instead of having to run off the grounds like the food vendors, if they needed anything, they would go to him and he would supply that. And he would have all the grandchildren up with him during that week. So, he'd give us a little bit of money, and send us off to have fun. And we just grew up looking at things. And those pictures I sent you, it brought back a lot of memories of things we used to do with, my brothers and my cousins. And we just had a fantastic time. And then as I got a little bit older, there used to be a play that was on the main stage twice a day. And it was a depiction of Amish life, and I played a little Amish kid. And I got paid $15 a week, and I was a professional actor. That was exciting.
Yeah, right. That is exciting.
And
But now you have. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So when I got a little bit older, then I sold sarsaparilla. And then after I graduated college, I was recruited to come back and work in the quilt barn. So that's right. I've been in the quilt barn for about 20 years, and now this year I've stepped in as director.
Yeah, let's just quickly talk about that, because I've had the last 2 years, of course, Heather Zimmerman has been our guest on the show. She was the director of the Folk Festival since post-COVID, but she recently took a job somewhere else, and that opened this position up. And now it's to you. And I just asked, how is the transition been going?
Well, Heather basically had everything set up before she left, and she's still involved. I became good friends with Heather. She's a great person. She's still involved. If I have a question, I can ask her. She's going to help with a new employee orientation. But it's been going really well. We have a great team they're up working in the fairgrounds now, setting everything up, getting the stuff together. We have another gentleman who came in who's working with the vendor relations, helping all the craftsmen come in and getting them set up, and the food vendors. So it's basically they have people set up to do everything. I'm there just in case. There's other things that I am doing, but it's been very smooth, and it's a great group of people that, the festival doesn't rely on one person.
No, you're absolutely
right. And Heather was very sure to make sure that happened, and so it's been quite easy. Lynn Ernst, who works in the festival office, is amazing. She's just knows everything, organized. So really, it's been very easy for me to step in.
Well, that's really good to hear. So Craig did share some photos. We're going to go through these and then talk a little bit about the festival. So if you've never been to the Kutztown Folk Festival, if we have to give the elevator pitch, it is America's oldest folk life festival. This year is, we're closing in on 75 years here in the very near future. And it has been going strong since 1950. And it is the place to learn about all things Pennsylvania Dutch, whether it's our history, our foodways, our art, how we lived, and you'll see through the photos if you've never been. It is a week-long festival. We'll have more details about that here in a minute. But some pictures from years gone by, before Doug was even born, probably some of these photos. If you'd like to just talk through them a little bit, Craig, or what we're looking at, and then I'll move to the next photo whenever you're ready.
Okay, so these photos that I shared with you, they are from the archives at the Kutztown Area Historical Society, so I got to give them a shout out. And these were slides that they had professionally scanned. That's why the color is so beautiful. Okay. Now, probably one of the pictures, we'll get to that when we do. I'll point that out. But we have a photo, paper-based photo of one of the women in the pictures I sent you at the society, and on the back it is said the 1953 Folk Festival. So we believe that these are from 1953. So this is, the early years of the festival. This photo we're looking at right here, Johnny Ott was one of the first. He and Milton Hill are really well, and you are well familiar with them, I'm sure. The early artists who became renowned for their barn stars, hex signs, that sort of thing. And Johnny Ott was at the early folk festival. For you folks in Berks County, if you ever go to Lenhartsville, to the Deutsche Eck restaurant, you will see Johnny's art all over the dining room in there. It's amazing that they were able to preserve that. Yeah, and he was a big draw, and he was up there, and just like we have a hex sign artist now at the festival this year, showing their craft. I'm sure you've heard of Patrick Donmoyer. He is at the Pennsylvania German Cultural Heritage Center at Kutztown University. He is one of the foremost authorities on barn stars, and he is up at the festival as well, showing how you paint one of these pieces of art on a barn.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous stuff for sure.
This is the Commons. If you go there today, it won't look too different than this now. You have the walkway and things going on in the middle, and the Commons, and on the outside, you're going to have your different craftspeople teaching everybody how their crafts works. That's the one thing that the festival was founded to teach people about the folk life of the Pennsylvania Dutch, and it is still doing that. There is a lot of education going on the festival grounds. So if you go up, you ask people, how are you doing that? What are you doing? They are thrilled to show you how this is done. And they want to keep their craft alive. So they want to teach people how it's done. And maybe you'll go and you'll find a new hobby.
Maybe.
Yeah. Now, no festival was complete without jumping off the hay wagon into the hay. We did not have a good day at the festival unless we went home with a bunch of hay down our back and in our socks. And our moms would make us take our clothes off in the garage so we wouldn't track it through the house. But I remember when I was in the play, I was a little kid, maybe 6th grade, and there were some high school kids in it as well. And one of the high school girls and I went, and we were playing in the hay. And when we came back, she met her boyfriend, and he said, "Who were you making hay with?" And she pointed at me. Then he calmed down, so he was all right. But we still have the hay up there, so there's a lot of things for the kids to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Children's games, things like that. Now, this is something that is no longer at the festival, but when I was a kid, I loved this. This was the gentleman in the black top hat was Paul Brumbach, but everybody around Kutztown called him Paulie. His family had a funeral home, and their funeral home is now the library for the Pennsylvania German Cultural Heritage Center at Kutztown University. And my father's family lived in one of the houses that is now used as offices for Kutztown University. So Paulie was their neighbor. So we knew him, and we used to go out. Now, we never went inside, but we would look in the windows to see what was going on. Kids are really enthralled with death. And growing up, my neighbor across the alley was Hildenbrand Funeral Home. And a very good friend of ours, she was my mom's neighbor growing up, and she was our neighbor because I said we grew up in the same neighborhood. Her husband was George Schaefer, and he was an undertaker in Kutztown as well. So we grew up around funeral homes and hearing stories of how things went. So Paulie used to drive around, and this was their horse-drawn hearse, and they had an old casket in the back. And of course, as a kid, you wanted to see that. So when I saw this picture, I wanted to share it because it brought back a lot of memories for me. And it also is something that we have all the time. People come to the folk festival and they say, I started coming here as a little kid and I enjoyed it so much. Now here I am with my children, or here I am with my grandchildren. One of the other things that was really special to me is when we were kids running around up there, a lot of the craftspeople came to Kutztown and stayed for the week and brought their families. So their kids are running around. So we got to meet a lot of other kids. And there is a woman, she was one of these kids that was up there when we were kids, and she came in the quilt barn. She knew me immediately. I guess I didn't age too badly. And it was really great. So she comes back every year, and it's kind of a reunion, and she asks about some of the other kids. So it's really neat. So it is becoming more and more of a sentimental journey for a lot of people to come back to the folk festival. This is Joan Fry Boynton, and this is the photo that this is a slide, but we have an actual photo, and it is dated Kutztown Folk Festival 1953. Now, she graduated high school with my mom. She is a member of the Kutztown Historical Society. She's still with us, too. I'm debating if I should, anyway. She graduated from high school in 1952, so that means she'll be, if she hasn't already, she'll be turning 90 this year. So here she is as a fresh young thing working at the Kutztown Folk Festival.
So those were some great photos from years gone past, but we have some photos from more recent folk festival times. And one thing that is a huge draw to the folk festival, and Craig knows this really, really well, is the quilt barn. So if you wanted to give the elevator pitch on what's the quilt barn and what might somebody see there?
Well, the quilt barn is, we usually house about, this year, 1,200 different quilts. Every quilt is for sale. It is a quilt sale. Now, those of you who are really involved with quilts know the difference between a sale and a show. Now we do have a lot of people, a lot of quilters come. They want to see what they have because there's 1,200 quilts. You're going to see a lot. Every bed-size quilt that is brought in, we have people making quilts from Berks County, Lehigh County, Lancaster, Lebanon County, Montgomery County. We have some Amish women who got married and moved to Wisconsin or Ohio or Kentucky. They make quilts and mail them into us. So we have people all over the country who make quilts, bring them to us to sell and to show off their skills. Every quilt that is a bed-size quilt is looked at, and the Quilt Barn folks know, they know their quilts. They've been there forever, and when we bring new people in, we train them. And if they see something that's special, they set it aside. The Tuesday before the folk festival starts, we have a panel of judges coming in, and they go through those quilts, and they have a rubric where they score it, and the top 24 quilts are hung from the ceiling. You can see in the upper left-hand corner of this photo, you see some quilts hanging from the ceiling. Those are our prize-winning quilts, and those are auctioned off on the last Saturday at noon, the last Saturday of the festival at noon. We auction those off. Now, what people say, why is it Saturday? Why isn't it Sunday? Well, we do it towards the end of the festival, so people have a chance to come in and see the prize-winning quilts. But we do have several Amish quilters who bring us quilts, and they do not want us to sell their quilts on a Sunday. So just in case they have a quilt that's in, and every year we do have at least one that is made by an old order Amish person, is in the auction. We have it on a Saturday. So we can.
I'm going to put you on the spot real quick, but
Sure.
You can guess if you don't remember. But over the years, do you remember what the most expensive quilt that
I most certainly do.
I figured you would.
Now, I am the MC for the quilt auction. So the most expensive happened in 2000, and I believe it was 2008 or 2006, around there, and it was $15,800.
Everybody hear
and
that?
The woman who made that actually graduated from high school with me. So I always say I taught her everything she knows.
Yeah. And the auction is literally a literal auction. You have people bidding. And in the last couple of years, you take online bids too, correct?
Well, it's a little bit different though. It's a silent bid. The KutztownFestival.com is our website. There is a separate page all about the quilts. You can go and look at them. And once we have the prize-winning quilts, we get pictures of them, and we get these pictures of the prize-winning quilts up on the website. So if you cannot make the auction, you can put in a silent bid. It's not an online bid. We don't have that technology yet because the auction takes place at the main stage, and it is packed. There's hundreds and hundreds of people there. So what you can do is you can say in your silent bid, this is my maximum bid. And you can put that in. Now, we do have a reserve. Every quilt, when the person who makes it sets their own price. The festival doesn't set the price. They set their own price. So at the auction, that is the starting bid. Okay. So there is that capability of doing an online auction. And if people out there, if you're interested in doing some of that, you can contact the festival directly, and I'll talk to you and I'll explain the system and help you out if you have anything like that. Because we do that. There are people who come in the first weekend, I won't be here, but I want to bid. So we will sit down and talk to them and explain the process and help them to register. We have a computer in the Quilt Barn. We do some things the newfangled way. We have a computer in the Quilt Barn, and we can sit down with them and we can show them how to record their maximum bid and explain the process to them.
Okay. Yeah, and people, you have to check out the Quilt Barn because of the absolute art that is in there that these quilts are, but also it is air conditioned. So I'll say that. It's the
only air conditioned building on the grounds. So
yeah,
usually everybody comes to the folk festival, visits us for some reason or another. Yeah. And we have plenty of seating. You can just sit down and look. And we have the people working in the Quilt Barn. If there's a quilt you want to see, they will open it for you. So you can see how we have them displayed here. We have 1,200 quilts. We can't have everything opened up, but we have enough of the quilt to pique your interest. If you want to see more, that's why they're there. They will open it up. And fairly often we have somebody opening up a quilt, wanting to see it, and somebody who is sitting there sees it and decides that they want to buy it.
Yeah.
So if you come in and you're like, well, I don't think I'm going to buy, but I still want to see this open up, don't be shy. Ask, we'll open it up, because if we open it, somebody in the barn may see it and they'll decide to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Craig already mentioned there's a lot of educational opportunities at the festival. There are. This is just one picture of, and you can tell us where this is and what this is, Craig.
So we have a mock-up of a one-room schoolhouse on the festival grounds, and we have somebody there with Mary Lobb, and she comes from the Libby family, who are original settlers of the area, and there are a lot of Libbys. We have a member of the Libby family who's been working in the Kutztown at the Kutztown Folk Festival since the 1960s, I believe, and she's in the quilt barn, and she's as energetic as she ever was. So anyway, in this this mock-up, they are teaching you Pennsylvania Dutch. As you can see here, they're teaching the song America. So you can go and you can practice your Pennsylvania Dutch. This is the only place we have some Grundsaal lodges there, the seminar stages.
Yeah.
We have people who are speaking Dutch and telling jokes in Dutch. I do remember some of my grandfather's jokes in Dutch, but the punchlines I could not say in mixed company.
Yeah, understand.
Yes, you get it. You know.
Oh,
you
I know. We saw the picture of Milton Hill, or not Milton Hill, Johnny Ott. And this is the backside of Eric Claypool, a very long-standing hex sign painter that's always at the folk festival there. He has his display there where you can go up there and buy, and he's always there. You can talk to him. Sometimes he'll be painting live, just like Craig said. So he's a good guy. You can buy some of his art. It's beautiful. But there are, at last year's festival, and I was walking around the grounds, I think there were at least, I counted 4 vendors selling hex signs, minimum of 4. So, I mean, we had a couple new ones, younger people that are now doing, that have taken up the craft, and they were producing some beautiful, beautiful traditional style hex signs, some beautiful stuff.
It's great to see. And Eric, he does this year round, and he takes commissions. Somebody will give him, likewise, if you look all the way at this picture, the bottom right, you'll see a clover there, people want, I want a hex sign, but I want a little bit of Irish in it, or I want a hex sign with this in it. And he's very creative and can do what you want. Eric's a good guy. He was a couple years ahead of me in high school. His brother was a year behind me, and I was pretty good friends with him growing up. Their dad was a lot of fun. They were from Lenhartsville. He learned from Johnny Ott and Milton Hill. Eric's dad, Johnny Claypool, and then Johnny taught Eric. So it's really nice that there's still that connection.
Absolutely. But there's lots of other folk art there as well. We're talking about hex signs, but here's just a redware potter. Craig, you can't even list all the different types of crafts and vendors that are at the festival. Just off the top of your head, do you have an estimate as to how many different crafters and vendors there are?
Well, I was actually going through that the other day, and on the Commons alone, we have 67.
Okay.
And including the other buildings and other areas, there's about 150.
There you go, people.
People come back year after year looking for a certain person. Again, on our website, kutztownfestival.com, we have a list of not only our craft vendors, but our food vendors as well. Yeah.
Well, perfect transition, because I just included one photo for the food taste. Every year there's the ox roast, which is a very popular vendor that's selling. You can get sandwiches made from there, and that is an ox that is roasted over an open hearth, which is about as traditional as it gets. But there are tons of other food opportunities. Mainly all of them are traditionally Pennsylvania Dutch. There are a couple that aren't, but for the most part, mainly traditionally Pennsylvania Dutch, everything from funnel cakes to sausage sandwiches to French fries, Dutch chips, as they're
Dutch
called.
Fries,
It's Dutch fries. Different root beer, birch beer,
waffles, and ice cream.
All these things. Yeah. Delicious stuff. And recently, within the last couple of years, and you can talk about this, Craig, too, there have been a couple breweries and wineries that have also now started vending at the fair.
Yes, we try to disperse the different food vendors throughout the fairgrounds. So if you're at the southwest corner of the fairgrounds is the Fresh Fest. So there's that, and that's where the ox roast is. A lot of food vendors up there. The ox roast is adding something new, big kettle for homemade baked beans. So that's something new that they're doing this year. But yes, we have several cider vendors, several wineries there. We do have at least one brewer. I'm trying to remember all the things that are coming in. But like I said, the food is dispersed. On the southern part, we have the sarsaparilla wagon is down there. We have the country kitchen down there. But we have our permanent food stands at the fairgrounds. The Kutztown Grange is there. The Kutztown Lions Club is there. The Kutztown Fair Association has a stand. The Virginville Grange has a stand. The Kutztown Optimist Club has a stand. Kutztown School District Music Association has stands. So they're there. We have the bake oven. And they're baking fresh bread constantly during the day. Sticky buns. They're making ham and lemon and bologna sandwiches with this bread that you can buy. So I always, my career before I retired was working in health education, and I always joke, that we need an angioplasty plots up there, or an insulin plots. But you know what? For 1 week, splurge.
For 1 week, eat till it ouches, right?
Yeah, eat till it ouches.
Now, the last couple of years, the festival has also expanded and provided a couple extra special opportunities for visitors. And there's a couple I'd like to highlight. And of course, Craig, you can talk about that. Every year at the festival for the last couple of years now, our good friend of the channel, Terry Berger, has been running the Country Kitchen. Where you can sign up for a lunchtime meal or a dinner meal. So there's a seating at 1 and a seating at 4, and he is making it's always traditional Pennsylvania Dutch food over a wood-fired cook stove. I mean, it is like you're going back in time to your grandparents' youth or your great-grandparents' youth with traditional recipes. A lot of it's locally sourced foods, but this isn't something you can just walk in and sit down. So, Craig, if somebody is really interested in experiencing this, and it is truly an experience, what does somebody have to do to make that happen?
Well, we have people buying tickets for this ahead of time, and that's mainly so we have a reservation system, because they're cooking just for a certain amount of people. This isn't like the rest of our food vendors where you walk up and there they are, and they're prepared to serve thousands and thousands of people. Because this is an immersive experience, they're doing something very specific, and they want to make sure that people sit down. It's not just eating. It's being in the environment and learning. They have one of the meals is chicken, the other is pork. If you go to our website, kutztownfestival.com, you can buy tickets for this, and you can choose. You get to look at your days to see what meal is being run. But they also include the 7 sweets and 7 sours with that, and you're sitting in a really neat area. Like they're cooking over a wood stove. It reminds me of my grandmother's house. So that's what she learned to cook on. She's doing a recipe. Grandma, how hot should the oven be? Oh, just stick your arm in and see if it feels hot enough. And then it is, So we had a lot of fun with that, trying to duplicate her stuff. But you're right. Terry Berger and the Esser family, they have it really going with this.
And Terry's right there too, and he can talk. I mean, he answers questions. He talks to you. He and the other people that are there serve you the meal. It is truly a great experience. So
now
if anyone is interested
in this, you should go and get your tickets as soon as possible, because I don't think there are many left, because this is a very popular thing.
Because it's it's delicious, and B, it's just a great experience. Terry is a wonderful guy, and he'll talk your ear off, and you can learn so much from him. And he'll share recipes with you. If you eat something and you're like, I gotta try this again, I want to try and make this, he'll help you. He's not gonna be, no, this is my secret recipe, I can't share that. He's not that kind of guy. He's a truly all around really, really good guy. Another opportunity that you have outside of the festival or alongside of the festival, and you started this last year, I think was the first year we did it, and it was so popular, is that we mentioned Patrick Dunmoyer, who's the director of the Pennsylvania German Cultural Heritage Center at Kutztown University. He has been doing these what he call the Back Roads and Barnstar Country Ride. This is another thing where you'd need an extra ticket for. Craig, could you tell us just a little bit about this?
Yeah, so we have an air-conditioned bus, and Patrick is your tour guide, and I can't think of a better person to be.
No.
And you board this bus near the main gate of the folk festival, and you drive through the back roads of Berks and Lehigh County, and you are looking at barn stars, at these beautiful, decorated Pennsylvania Dutch barns that you will only see in Pennsylvania. Patrick has made an inventory of all the barn stars in Berks County, and that was a Herculean task.
Yeah.
And he's going to be showing you a lot of good stuff. You'll learn so much from Patrick. You'll get a really good taste of the rural area around here that hasn't changed, much since the early 1700s when our ancestors first came here. And you get to see these beautiful pieces of art as they were originally put together,
as they were meant to be seen.
Yes,
really.
yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Patrick is one of the experts, if not the expert, when it comes to this.
Yes.
And he's able to relay this information and tell you these stories in a way that anyone can understand what's going on and really understand what you're looking at and why they are so important to us as Pennsylvania Dutch. I can't recommend this enough, but there's another thing where tickets sell out. So if this is something, again, that you think that you'd be interested in, please check the website, which is a perfect transition as well. All of the information that you need to know about the Folk Festival before going, or if you're deciding if you want to go, is at kutztownfestival.com. It's a great website. I took a screenshot of it. It has the entire schedule. We didn't even talk about entertainment. There's multiple stages at the Folk Festival. There's the main stage. There's the hoedown stage, where there are top-notch musicians that'll be performing traditional Pennsylvania Dutch music. But beyond just traditional Pennsylvania Dutch music, there's other things going on. As Craig mentioned, there are artists there that'll be telling traditional Pennsylvania style humor. Like what I guess you would consider a form of like stand-up comedy that is very traditional among the Pennsylvania Dutch in the way that we do it. There's opportunities to see that. There's opportunities to see the Lester Miller family showing how hoedowning is done, the traditional form of dancing among the Pennsylvania Dutch. There is just so much to see. There's all this great art and all this great food and these vendors, but then there's also the educational aspect that we've already talked about. You can learn how these people do this. You can learn our story. You can learn why we do what we do, why we celebrate the way that we celebrate, and then you also, with your entrance fee, this gets you everything in the festival minus the special lunch option that we just talked about with Terry Burger or the Barn Star tour. Those are add-on extras, but your basic entrance fee gets you access to everything at the festival. All of the entertainment is included in that entry price, which, let's just talk details real quick for everybody. So we can see the dates, June 29th through July 7th. What are the hours? What are we looking at cost-wise for somebody that wants to come to the festival?
Okay, so the hours every day opens at 9 a.m. and we close it at 6 p.m. During the weekdays, the price of admission is $13, and on the weekends it is $16. On July 4th, if you are a military veteran, please bring your ID with you, and you can get in for $5. You can purchase tickets online. We encourage that because that'll help you zip through the admission, the gates much faster. Also, we have free parking. So if you drive and you're going to park on the grounds, you pay your admission fee and your parking comes with that. So we don't charge extra for that.
So you said $13. Is there what about children?
Children of 12 and under are free.
Okay.
So there you have it. Now, I was, they just had the World War II weekend at down in Reading, and it was amazing. But they were charging $42 for admission. So this is a bargain.
No, it absolutely is.
And Doug, like you said, all of the music and the entertainment, you don't have to pay extra for it. The main stage, there's always something going on. Yeah. We have bands who are roaming the festival grounds, stopping at different areas and playing. You have the seminar stage where you have people that are telling the stories or telling about different aspects of the culture. You have the school. You have the different craftsmen showing their stuff. You have the air-conditioned quilt barn. You also have, there's a misting station. So you're a little hot. You walk through this misting station. It spritzes you with a little bit of water and cools you off. So it's a bargain in these days, I think.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%. The quality of entertainment alone, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an entertainer at the Folk Festival, but I know this to be true, is top-notch stuff. I mean, you're getting your $13 in. You're getting your $13 worth, 100%. I'm
in awe of Dave Kline organizes all the, and you know him well. I'm in awe of the folks that he brings in.
Oh yeah.
and they're amazing,
Yes.
and it's like, what, where did we find them? And they are just so thrilled to be there and be playing for people. And you can tell that the enjoyment comes through in their
Absolutely.
music.
Well, Craig, I hope that some people watching I know that they will be planning on coming to the festival. You have 9 days that you can pick from. So check out the website, kutztownfestival.com. The Folk Festival is also on Facebook and on Instagram. They do, whoever's running the social media there, I think it's Linda. She does a great job, especially during the festival. She's really good about updating photos and videos of while things are happening at the festival. So please follow them if you're on Facebook or Instagram. And also check out their website. There's lots of information there. You can get your tickets ahead of time, like Craig said. Also, all of the schedules for each day, entertainment, seminar stage is all listed there, so you can kind of plan your day when coming to the festival, of course. And there's also the beer garden. We even talk about that. There's an opportunity to sit down and relax in a traditional German style outdoor beer garden. It's always a great place for people to kind of congregate and close out the day. And one thing I want to show, a comment that someone said, this is true. Carol says, as someone with mobility issues, they are very accommodating with handicap parking, and you can rent a scooter. So if that might be something that's saying, I probably shouldn't go because I don't have, I have mobility issues, don't let that stop you from coming to the festival, please.
Contact the festival if you need to rent a scooter, contact ahead of time. Don't show up that day looking for one. So plan ahead with that. But there are some scooters available for rent. Yes. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that.
One other quick thing. Becky has a question for you, Craig. Great affordable rate. Kids are free. Is the festival subsidized by grants and sponsorships to keep it accessible for families?
We have a number of very nice sponsors. The festival is not yet a 501c3, so we cannot get grants yet. But our sponsors are amazing. And you will see the festival has banners up saying who the sponsors are. They're listed on the Folk Festival website. So if you want to go and look and see who is sponsoring so you can thank them, please do, because we couldn't do it without them. They're just absolutely amazing. People, they'll give us Suburban Propane gives us propane for the ox roast. And Verizon, they donated phones for me to use, so I don't have to give out my personal phone number for me to use during the Folk Festival. It's really great.
It started as a community event, and it is still a community event, 70 plus years later.
I see, I go up there and I see people who live down the street from me, but I don't see them until I go to the Folk Festival. So
About it. Craig, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's going to be there's a couple givens in Pennsylvania Dutch country. One is that we have great food and we can find these barn stars, but another one is that it will be hot and humid during the Folk Festival. That's just a given. So plan accordingly if you are coming, because everything is outside minus the quilt barn. There are places where you can get under roof and get into shade. But if it's a typical Pennsylvania Dutch Kutztown Folk Festival, it's going to be 90s and 95% humidity. Hopefully this year maybe we'll break that tradition, but plan accordingly, people, if you plan on coming out, because you will be outside in the elements, and that's the case if it starts to rain as well. So just check the weather ahead of time.
A lot of tents and a lot of permanent buildings. So if you need to get out of the sun or out of the spritz, you'll be covered.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for coming on. I'm wishing you all the best. It's going to be an awesome folk festival, as it is year after year. Again, everybody, if you want to learn more, check out kutztownfestival.com, where you can find everything you need to know about the festival. And Craig, good luck this year. Gut Glück, as we say in Pennsylvania Dutch. And I can't wait to see you. I'll see you on the 1st somewhere. I'll find you while you're roaming around trying to put out fires. Hopefully there aren't any fires, though, to put out.
You'll know me. I'll be wearing a hat.
Sounds good. Yeah, look for a straw hat. That's Craig. Yes. All right, Craig, thanks so much. Best of luck, and we will hopefully have a great festival, and I can't wait to share how the festival went with everybody here on the channel in the future.
Great. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate
Max
it.
Good. Everybody, that's it, man. Get your tickets now. Get yourself to the Folk Festival. It truly is, 1950 is when this started, and it's still going strong. And as Craig said, there are now grandparents who went as kids bringing their grandkids. And I've met them. It's true. It's absolutely true. It is a wonderful experience. And for those of you, I want to share Dolly's comment real quick with everybody. Thanks, Craig. My July 1st plans: Barnstar Country Ride with Patrick, Country Kitchen Meal with Mr. Burger, and entertainment by Doug and Chris. I can't wait. Dolly, that is I don't know if you could pick a better day. That's awesome. Dolly, I can't wait to see you. Yes, I personally will be there on the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd of July. Chris and I will be performing our Ask a Pennsylvania Dutchman live shtick, which is music and jokes and just a good time. We have 2 performances or 3. Some days we have 3 performances. Again, you can check the schedule out on the website, kutztownfestival.com. But I will be there live the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd. And when Chris and I are not on stage performing, we will be roaming around the fairgrounds, shooting videos for the YouTube channel, interviewing people. If you see us, stop us and say, "Hey, Doug," or "Hey, Chris," and get our attention, because we love meeting our fans and our friends from the YouTube channel and from Facebook and all that. So please, if you see us, stop us and talk to us. Please, please, please. That's the 1st, the 2nd, and 3rd of July that we will be there. But if you can't make those days, the festival runs till the 7th. It's going to be an awesome, awesome show. If you've never been, and maybe this year won't work because maybe you have something else going on, but it is always around the first week of July. So if you can't make it this year, put it on the calendar for next year, please. It is absolutely worth every dollar to get in, that $13 to get in. If you get kids 12 and under, they're free. Seriously. Now bring money because you're going to want to buy food. You might want to buy some folk art. You want to get yourself a cold drink, all those things, so bring some money, support all those local vendors, because it is all local. Like Craig mentioned, you can stop at the Virginville Grange, the Kutztown Lions Club. These are the groups that are selling the food. So the money's staying local. It's not going to some company that's based in Chicago or something like that. It's all Pennsylvania Dutch people, local people from Berks County, Lehigh County, the area there around, that are making this festival happen. And your monetary support of the things that they're doing stays in the community. I can't stress it enough. What a wonderful, wonderful experience. I can't wait for it to start. So check out their website, kutztownfestival.com, for more information and plan your trip. Every month, I like to bring something Pennsylvania Dutch language related, usually a poem. And this month, we're going to my favorite Pennsylvania Dutch language poet, and that is the one and only John Birmelin. And his poem I chose for this month is Yuni, which translates into June. Since we're in the month of June, I thought this is perfect. If you understand Pennsylvania Dutch, great. If not, that's okay. I have the Dutch on the left-hand side. I have the English on the right-hand side, so you can read or follow along in whichever language you want to follow along in. I'm going to read the Pennsylvania Dutch for everybody, and then we'll move on to the next little bit of the show. But here we go. Yuni by John Birmelin, the quintessential Pennsylvania Dutch poet, or one of, for sure. Here we go. Da Juni so lieblich uns lacht, mit Rose in herrlicher Pracht. Die Rose, die bliehe, im Sonnenlicht gliehe, und dufte sogar in der Nacht. Bei Rose sind Donner der Nebe, was muss ma sie zimperlich hebe? Und Rose zerbreche, du kann ma sich steche, und Schmatze, die kann ma erlebe. Der Bräutigam holt sich in Brat, im rosiger Juni gedraht, und hocht sich muss sei, mit Jubel dabei, und alles wat lustig und lad. Sie gehen ins Leben zu nahe, und hoffe recht glücklich zu sei. Ma wünscht ne von Hatze, ken Donner, ken Schmatze, josch liebliche Rose dabei. What a beautiful poem by the one and only John Birmelin. He is truly one of the greats, one of the absolute greats, for sure. So I hope that you enjoyed that poem, dear friends. And I got a couple things yet I want to share with everybody, as I usually do. We had our poem, and every month I also like to bring some kind of song. Well, I had to pull something. We mentioned Dave Kline. Dave Kline is a standby at the Kutztown Folk Festival year after year. For the last couple of years, he has been the sole person getting all of the entertainment and entertainers scheduled and runs, trying to balance these 3 stages that are there. He does a great job. And on top of that, he's a talented musician and a gifted storyteller. And I thought we have to highlight one of his performances from one of the previous folk festivals. So if you would give me 1 second here, I have to share tabs. There's a lot going on here. Here we go. Share this. So this is from the 2000 and what is it? 5 years ago, 2019. Did I do the math right? Yeah, I think so. Kutztown Folk Festival. And this is his original song, Born in Berks County. Him on banjo, along with other good friends of ours from the Mountain Folk Band. So enjoy their performance from a previous Kutztown Folk Festival.
To get this song, born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised there. There's a pickle in the barrel, pickle in the barrel, and you get one. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Sausage on the grill, got some sausage on the grill, sausage on the grill, get some sunrise in the buck. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. She's a revolutionary, red, his hand and was ready to take her hand and ready. I'm about to get me some sun. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. We got old stories, we got old stories. Go ahead and sit down, you are right to tell a story. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Get your gallon dose, I know. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. We got X-Line stars and stuff, X-Line stars and stuff, X-Line stars and stuff. Come on and get me some. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Everybody together! It's a hoop day! I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, I was born in Berks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. Hey! There's a point of
Well, there you go. Now, wait a minute. Nah, there we go. There we go. Let's stop sharing that. Let's go to this. Well, dear friends, there we go. As I said, it is that's the type of entertainment you're going to be able to see if you come to the Kutztown Folk Festival. Good top-notch stuff. I'm telling you, that Pennsylvania Dutch stuff, English stuff. We have other groups that come that are more traditional Irish type bands. We have community bands that play. Again, all that is with your entrance fee. You get all that stuff for free, all these stages. So please, 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 please check it out. Hey, we got to get going. We're getting here towards the end of the episode, but a couple things. If you would like to get your own Pennsylvania Dutch themed merchandise, don't forget, I announce this every month, but we've had some sales and that's great. There's some great stuff out there. You want to get a shirt with a Disselfink, not a Disselfink, with an Elvidrich on, or you want to get a shirt that says Schnickelfritz on it, or tons of other things that we have, please check out our website, zazzle.com/PA Dutch stuff. I'll show you that here in a minute, but it's not just t-shirts. You can get stickers, magnets, sweatshirts, baby onesies, bibs, you name it. Check out the website. That address is zazzle.com/PA Dutch stuff. And you can check out all of the various types of things you can get with all of these designs that Rachel Yoder and myself have put together. Please. And if you got some Pennsylvania Dutch stuff, I want to show this back to one picture here. If you got a shirt or something, wear it at the folk festival and you will be on my Instagram, because I'll be taking a picture of you with, we got it last year. It was unbelievable. As Chris and I were walking the fairgrounds, we ran into multiple people that were wearing our shirts and hats and things like that. And we got pictures with everybody, and we were sure to share it because we want to share that Pennsylvania Dutch love. And if you would like to financially support and show your Pennsylvania Dutch love for the great things we're doing here at PA Dutch 101, please, you have two options. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Doug Maidenford, or you can be a monthly patron on our Patreon page, which is really simple to do. You can say, hey, I want to give these guys $5 every month. You set it up, and you forget about it. Set it and forget it. But listen, all the money that we raise goes to the upkeep of the channel. If you like what we're doing and you would like to financially support us, please feel free to do it in either one of these formats, but you don't have to. We're going to keep bringing the Pennsylvania Dutch themed content to you, whether we're getting coffee bought for us or we have patrons or not. We appreciate anybody that does support us. And I would like to give a quick shout out to some people that have financially supported us. Gross Dank für die Unterstützung. Many thanks for your support. Dave Smith, Alan Moyer, Seth Moak, Norman Jung, Brigitte Weinsteiger, Scott Vanek, Glenn Ritter, David Hunsinger, Dolly Moyer, Gary Johansson, Gail Spilsbury, Bill Nace. These are some people that have recently either bought us a coffee or have signed up to become a patron on our Patreon. And from the bottom of my Dutch heart, that's probably covered with tons of cholesterol because of all the good Pennsylvania Dutch food that I'm always eating, thank you. Gross Dank. You keep us going, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Mark your calendar, dear friends, because our July episode is going to take place on the 10th of July, and we're going to have that month, we're welcoming on Adam Kissinger, who is a local actor and entertainer, and he will be bringing with him Dr. Scrapple. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. You can put two and two together and see what you think next month is going to be all about. It's going to be a fun episode, that's for sure. But between now and the 10th of July, when I hope to see you all here again, please make plans to come to the Kutztown Folk Festival. Check out the website, kutztownfestival.com, to learn all about the great things that they're doing at the festival that you can check out. And again, if you can't make it this year, put it on the calendar for next year. If you ever want to share these episodes with your friends on social media, you can do that. These always get archived on my YouTube channel. If you go to the channel and then the live tab, it'll give you all of the 3 years worth of Pennsylvania Dutch lives that we have stored there that you can share on Facebook or wherever you're on, whatever social media feed you're on. Or you can just say, hey, I missed that episode. How did I miss that? You can sit down, get a cup of coffee or whatever it is you like to drink and watch that show from in the past. We got some great episodes coming up in the rest of the summer and into the fall. I can't give away too many things, but I got some really great guests booked into the fall, some returning guests that you guys love to have on the show that are coming back on, and some new people. I just today booked a really big one, and I'm super excited. That'll be probably in November. If you have an idea for someone that you think would be a great person to have on the show, send me a message. You can always email me at padutch101.com. That's info@padutch101.com. Or if you're following along on Facebook or on YouTube, you can send me a message there as well. If you think of somebody that, Doug, you should really have this person on. They do these awesome things that I maybe don't know about, and I'll reach out to them and hopefully we can get them on the show. The any way that we can keep bringing quality Pennsylvania Dutch themed content to all of you, that's our goal. Till next month, dear friends, hopefully I will run into some of you at the Folk Festival again. I'll be there the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd of July. Those 3 days, you can catch me and Chris live at the Folk Festival. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. And again, if you see us, stop us and talk to us, please, please, please. But if you aren't able to make the Folk Festival, that's okay. We'll be back here on the 10th of July with another episode of PA Dutch Live. Till then, dear friends, get out and enjoy the many great things that are happening. There's strawberry festivals that are going to start taking place. There's community picnics, Pennsylvania Dutch themed picnics. Get out there, check that stuff out. Of course, the Folk Festival as well, along with many, many other awesome things. Follow along on Facebook, PA Dutch 101, on Instagram as well, PA Dutch 101, where I will constantly be posting things that are happening in Pennsylvania Dutch country or the greater Pennsylvania Dutch country, for things for you to check out, things that I will be attending, all that cool kind of stuff to keep connected with other people interested in Pennsylvania Dutch and all things Pennsylvania Dutch. But till next month, dear friends, please have fun, get out there, stay cool, enjoy the summer. Hopefully I'll see you guys at the Folk Festival. And if not, I'll see you here on the 10th of July for another episode of PA Dutch Live. Till then, dear friends, groß Dank für alles. Many thanks for everything. Schwätz Deutsch, talk Pennsylvania Dutch if you can, a word here or there, and mach's gut.
Mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir für now. Unsere Zeit ist all und so es ist, mach's gut für now. Hoff wieder mit dir zu sein, hoff du bringst zurück ein Freund. Mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir für now. Unsere Zeit ist all und so es ist, mach's gut für now. Hoff wieder mit dir zu sein, hoff du bringst zurück ein Freund. Und so mach's gut, lieber Freund, mach's gut.